Hello and welcome to the Vegan Body Revolution Show. I am your host, Thomas Tadlock from veganbodyrevolution.com, where I show you how to achieve your ultimate dream body on a 100% plant-based diet. We have been talking with one of the biggest, baddest vegan bodybuilders out there, 6'4", 250-pound Ryan Nelson, who recently placed second place at the NPC Gopher Classic show at the super heavyweight edition, and who was also named 2013's Personal Trainer of the Year by the Sun Post in Minneapolis. Pretty amazing guy. In the previous episode, we talked to him about why he went vegan, what it's been like for him, what the effect was on his family. He told us the story of his girlfriend who was able to heal her digestive issues with going vegan. And ever since then, the changes in his body, where he talked about how he dropped 3 to 4% body fat in just 3 weeks, eating a whole foods plant-based diet with a few modifications, of course. So you definitely want to check out that episode. But in this episode, we are going to go deep. I mean in deep detail, exactly what this giant vegan beast eats in order to keep up this 5 to 6% body fat percentage. For those of you who don't know, that is really, really low. I mean, that's like six-pack and veins popping out all the time. At 250 freaking pounds. That is so impressive. So let's not waste any more time, and let's bring back my man, Mr. Ryan Nelson.
Tom, how you doing, man?
Freaking amazing. I'm doing so good. And you know why that is? Because I'm talking to you right now.
Hey, I'm doing good, man. I'm happy to be on.
Well, it's good to have you on. So let's talk about your nutrition, man. I mean, 250 pounds, 5 to 6% body fat on a vegan diet. I mean, the first alarm that goes off in most people's minds would be, oh my God, how do you do that? Isn't vegan food like all carbohydrates?
Yeah, I think that alarm does go off in a lot of people's mind. And to tell you the truth, I do consume a lot of carbohydrates as far as grams and numbers go, but in percentage-wise, my carbohydrates when I'm trying to put on size probably are in the 40 to 50% range of my macronutrients, with a fat, ranging in 20 to 25%, and a protein ranging in the 25 to 30%. So I still get a good balance of food with a vegan diet.
Well, I'm just writing all that down. Okay, so 40 to 50% carbs, 20 to 25% protein, and 30. Was that fat or protein? Oh yeah, that's right.
Fat.
I wrote it wrong down.
About fat. 25%, 20 to 25%.
Okay, and then
protein 25 to 30%.
25 to 30%. Got it. Actually, I'm doing the math here. If you did 40 carbs, 20 protein. Okay, got it. Okay, interesting. That reminds me of an old macronutrient ratio that I was taught after achieving my first certification from the ISSA, and that was the 3-2-1 rule. Whereas 3 parts carbohydrates, 2 parts protein, and 1 part fat. And that almost added up to about 50% carbs, 20 or 30% protein, and about 20 fat.
That's pretty much what I try to. That's the numbers I try to follow.
So are you measuring your food out and stuff every day?
Tom, when I'm in a building phase, I don't so much concern with actually getting my measuring spoon or tablespoon or cup out, but more so concerned in just quantity. So I won't measure as much, but I will have a good idea of how many calories I'm consuming, and usually between the 5,000 to 6,000 calories a day.
Wow. So then you probably know. So what does that translate into grams of carbs? How many grams of carbs are you shooting for every day?
Oh, I'll be pushing 600 to 1,000 grams of carbs every day.
Wow. And fat?
Fat, I'll probably be between 100 and 150 grams.
And protein?
At least. Protein, I would like it to be 250, somewhere around there. If I'm a little below or a little above or a little below, I'm okay with that. Sometimes up to the 300 grams of protein.
250 to 300. I can't wait to find out what you're actually eating to get all this in. And that's amazing, man. These are some pretty big numbers. I mean, I'm not surprised.
Big numbers for a big guy.
Big boy, yeah. But, the thing is, it's like my friends that I used to work with at the Sports Club LA, they're no longer around anymore. But the majority of the trainers there were all competitive bodybuilders, many of them at the pro level. And those guys were getting their calories in with the help of a lot of supplements. I mean, a lot of supplements. They're doing tons of powders, both protein powders and carbohydrate powders, to be able to get all their nutrients in. But what amazes me is you're doing this whole foods. You're doing this mostly with whole foods. I can't even imagine being able to stomach that many calories. So let's break it down, man. So let's start with meal number one. What do you usually eat for your first meal of the day?
Meal number one, I will usually go with a buckwheat omelet or a buckwheat pancake.
Okay, so what's a buckwheat omelet?
Okay, so they're really close to the same thing, the base. I'll use buckwheat flour with some flax mixed with some baking powder, and that's the base. And from there, you either put a little nutritional yeast, salt, pepper, turmeric in there to make your omelet, or you go the other route and you put cinnamon in there to make your pancake. And then from there, then the toppings are a little bit different if you're going to go the omelet route.
Wait, so how does this work? You got buckwheat flour, I'm assuming, do you throw this onto a Vitamix or something, or you mix it with water?
Oh, yeah. So I'll put the buckwheat flour and the flax, with the most important thing is the baking powder. You got to have that in there, or else it won't rise.
Huh.
You got to have the baking powder. Okay, so you put that in your food processor, Vitamix, either or probably, I'm sure it would work. I use the food processor for that cause. Blend it up.
Are these whole flax seeds?
No, these are milled flax seeds.
Okay, so you got flaxseed, you got powdered flaxseed.
Yep. And then blend those together, and then just pour them out just like you would a pancake, just like pancake mix into your fry pan. No oil, though. No oil necessary. Surprisingly enough, the buckwheat doesn't need oil. It won't stick if you have a decent nonstick pan.
No kidding.
So, and then, yeah, like I was going on to say, the toppings, for the omelet, I'll a lot of times do like lentils, because lentils have a good source of protein and carbs. And then also we'll probably put some hummus in there. That bumps the protein up a little bit. And then some greens. I like to get some greens in there, some spinach and red peppers.
Are you cooking these things?
Absolutely, I'm cooking these.
So this is all like being mixed together?
Yep.
So what I'm looking at the lentils. Now, have you pre-cooked the lentils?
I've already cooked the lentils. I've already cooked a big batch of lentils up, and then in a side pan, I'm sautéing some red peppers, and then maybe just giving the spinach maybe a little touch in the fry pan. But I don't like to mess with the greens too much, nor the veggies in the fry pan. I like to keep them pretty raw.
Sounds advanced. Tell me how you make your lentils, because I can't make good tasting lentils to save my life.
I found the easiest way is pretty much the same way as rice for me. So bring the water to a boil, put your lentils in, and then just leave them be on a simmer for about, I think lentils are about, they're a little longer. I think they're about 35 to 45 minutes. And the one thing where people go wrong with split peas, lentils, and rice is they mess with them. You got to just leave them be. And then after about 35, 45 minutes, you can pull the topper off and then take a fork and just kind of go through them delicately, and you should have some pretty good split peas, lentils,
Do you
rice.
season them with anything? Because when I cook them with water, I don't really love the taste of the lentils by themselves. Do you eat them just like that, or do you season
Well,
them?
they'll
and
be
flavor them?
they'll be topped on the top of my omelet with salsa and hummus and red peppers and spinach.
Oh, got it. Okay, so when it's mixed in with all of that stuff, it tastes pretty good. Okay, got it. And and for you to get the amount of protein that you need, I mean, do you have to, is that where you're primarily getting your protein from? Is from those lentils for your breakfast?
Yeah, the lentils are big there. The hummus is pretty big. The flax is pretty legit, a good protein source, and also the buckwheat. They're all good protein sources.
So you're counting the number of grams in each ingredient, including the
Absolutely.
buckwheat and the flaxseed and the lentils and the I see. And so okay, so that's cool. Well, then I guess those things add up pretty quickly. So how many? I mean, just in that meal alone, how much protein are you getting in?
Yeah, so that one alone, I know I'll have probably anywhere from 1,000 to 1,500 calories, and probably at least 50 grams of protein coming from that breakfast meal.
Wow. Okay. That's pretty hardy, man. Okay, this sounds good. You know what? I want to go to the store tomorrow and buy some buckwheat and try making this. It sounds delicious.
Absolutely, it's a good one to have in your diet.
So you take any sups in the morning with this?
I won't usually have any supplements until my morning snack, and that's when maybe I'll do either a hemp brown rice or maybe sometimes I'll combine, like I think Vega is brown rice and pea protein. I'll do a pea protein sometimes too. And I'll do that mid-morning, and mid-morning is usually like
So is that the second meal of
9
the day
o'clock
for you?
for me. Yeah, that'll be the second meal of the day. I'll do
How
a
how
protein
early
shake.
do you get started?
I get started early. I'm sure you know from personal training that you gotta get people working out early in the morning. So I usually get up at 4:10
Oh
and
Jesus.
make breakfast, and then I train people at 5:30, 6, 7, and 8, and I'm usually done by about 10 in the morning, and then I'll come home, and a lot of times take a shake to work with me too to sip on. That's usually pretty acceptable now. You can't usually be chowing down on food, but you can sip on a protein shake when you're training. No one usually cares too much about that. So
Yeah, I'm done getting up that early. I used to do it, don't anymore. I have to get up
yeah,
early now because
well,
my son wakes up and I have to get him. But it's not 4 in the morning. In fact, I don't care if he's crying. I don't get up any earlier than 7:30 to go get him. My youngest son, my 15-month-old. All right, does that make me a bad parent? I don't know. We'll see. We'll
no.
see. I'll measure that by the therapy that he might need when he's older. So meal two is I'm hearing that it's a protein shake.
Yeah, I'll usually do something like an almond milk or a coconut milk, and then I'll maybe add a little almond butter and protein powder.
That sounds good. And then protein powder. How much? What kind of macros are you looking to get out of this thing?
Mostly, just protein out of this one. I'm looking for anywhere from 30 to 50 grams again here.
Got it. So you're throwing in like a scoop and a half of, or 1 to 2 scoops of Vega in there.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, or I'll do I kind of like the Now protein brand, the pea protein they have. It's a pretty good source. I think it's 24 grams a scoop. It is a little higher in sodium, so I won't solely rely on it.
So you'll switch it up a little bit.
Yeah, I will switch it up throughout the day. Even sometimes I'll just do 1 scoop of pea, and then I'll go to a brown rice and a hemp.
I get burned out on the same protein powder after a while.
Absolutely. I think it's important to vary your sources and just not only for your body, but for your taste buds.
But the good thing is, if I burn out on a protein, give me a couple weeks, I can come back to it and I'll be okay eating it again. So I like doing that too. I like switching up my protein. And I usually just buy, I don't know about you, I just usually buy whatever's on sale at my natural grocery store, and it's always something different every other week.
Yeah, I'm the same way. If I see something on sale, I'll pick it up. And then I'm fortunate enough that my girlfriend is a chiropractor, and so she gets really good deals on any kind of supplements. So when I'm up to do it, I'll make a big order online, and I usually get a pretty good deal on supplements that way.
Wholesale, nice.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, and then meal 3.
So then I'll come back and have lunch, and usually we'll do a bigger salad, and maybe I'll take those lentils, that big batch of lentils I made up in the morning, and I'll have prepped a soup or something for the day where I have potatoes, lentils, and a bunch of veggies in there, and then a big green salad with that.
All right, hold on. Writing this down. So big salad, lentils, potatoes. What else?
Usually have some carrots in there, red peppers, onions.
In your
and
salad?
Then I'll usually. Oh, excuse me. In my salad? No, I'll have red peppers.
This is separate.
Yeah. I'll have a salad, a side salad. That's not really a side salad. It's a big salad, a big bowl of greens, spinach, kale. Love kale. Kale's good stuff. Then I'll have some red peppers in there, onions, and then usually some seeds or nuts. So really like hemp seeds, really like sunflower seeds, almonds. I think all those are really good. Pumpkin seeds are excellent. So, and then have
what
some
do you use for
avocado
dressing
in there with it. I'm pretty much a salsa hummus guy.
You know, I actually accidentally put those two together one time, and I loved the taste of it. Hummus and salsa. Yep. What's your favorite brand of hummus?
My favorite brand of hummus is Holy Land.
Holy Land. Okay. Yeah, I've had that before. That is really good. Holy Land. And then salsa. I'm a Pace Picante guy.
The brand I use is Jack's.
Jack's. I've never heard of that brand before. All right, so big hunk, a few giant scoops of hummus, pour some salsa on top of that, mix it all together, and just chow down.
Yep.
And then, okay, so then on top of that.
Then I'll usually have some soup, too, on the side.
What's in your soup?
And that's where I'll bring in the lentils. I'll have a big lentil soup with potatoes in there, and then some veggies also, like probably some more. I like red peppers, so I'll have red peppers and onions in there with a vegetable broth.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you're tossing all this stuff into a giant soup/stew, huh?
Yep.
Do you throw them in like a slow cooker or something, or do you?
I usually just have a big pot that I have going, and I'll eat on that for a couple days, and that's kind of my where food prep really comes in for me. So important for me.
And so the potatoes, are these sweet potatoes or are these white potatoes?
I do both, but usually I'll do white potatoes in my soups.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. Okay, cool. So is that is that your whole lunch?
That would be lunch, yep.
What kind of macros are you getting out of that?
Lunchtime, I'm probably getting anywhere from 40 to 50 grams. Again, I try to keep that 40 to 50 grams of protein in at my meals, and probably 750 to 1,000 calories.
Got it. So you're doing about 5 meals a day?
Yeah, 5 to 6 meals a day.
All right, cool. What's your carbohydrate load look like at this point?
So right now I'm probably pushing anywhere from 350 to 500 carbohydrates in the day.
And when I forgot to ask you this during breakfast, what do your carbs look like there? That giant
that's a big
bucket?
carb one. That's a big carb one there. That's probably 300 carbs, almost 250, 300 carbs.
Wow. When do you work out?
So in the morning, I will do a little cardio ab work, and then in the evening, I'll come back and do my big workout.
You do 2 a-days, 5 days a week?
Yep.
So when you work out, is it after meal one?
Yeah, usually I'll work out, after I get done with those clients in the morning is when I will do my cardio ab workout.
So when do you have your protein shake? Is it usually right after your cardio ab workout or right before it?
Usually after the cardio ab workout.
Got it. Okay, cool. Cardio ab workout. Cool. Okay, so that's meal 3. We finished up meal 4.
So meal 4 a lot of times will be that I would consider it like that pre-workout meal where I'm about 1.5 hours out from my workout, and I really want to get some good carbs in right before that workout. So sometimes I'll come either back to a couple bowls of soup, or maybe I would make a omelet or a pancake, something like that. And again, push another 150, 250 carbohydrates in. So that's kind of going to be the base of my carbohydrates for the day.
Yeah, okay. So it's not quite as heavy on the carbs as your lunch, but it sounds like you're almost mimicking what you did for breakfast.
Yeah, and I won't really stray too far away from the base of my meals throughout the day. And like I said, that food prep is so important for me. And I'm giving you an example kind of one of my days. Now, I will change day to day a little bit, but pretty much we'll stay pretty close to that.
Well, that makes it easy.
I will adjust a little bit on my schedule too. If there's something that I have going on in the evening or I'm busy with work, then I'll adjust to my schedule. But yeah, usually that after lunch pre-workout meal, I'll get in 250, 150 carbs. Nothing too big that's going to really weigh me down in my workout, but enough to give me some good energy for that workout.
But that's also going to be loaded with about 40 to 50 grams of protein too, right?
Yeah, because I'll have some lentils probably in there or some hummus. Those usually are included in my meals.
Like what's cool, I mean, it makes it easy because you're basically doing meal 3 without the salad.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So like while you're making your soup, you just make yourself like a whole bunch. You just grab another serving of it and then take it with you back to your training center. Or in the morning when you're making your giant omelet, you just make 2, one for now and then one for later, right? That's great. That's really cool. Yep. And so then you do that and then you work out.
Yeah. So then I'll have a big workout and again, come right behind that with the protein shake.
So you have a protein shake right after that. And then I'm guessing at that point, your next meal is at home?
Yeah, so then I'll probably do a little bit of training clients throughout the evening, be back at the house for a big dinner.
Big dinner. What's for dinner?
Well, tonight was buckwheat pizzas, and my girlfriend and I do those quite often. So those we make out of buckwheat groats, a little bit different than the buckwheat flour. They're in the whole form of buckwheat, and then we will take and blend them in the food processor and make a buckwheat crust, and then top them off with veggies and red sauce, and one of my favorite meals, buckwheat pizza.
How do you create a buckwheat crust?
My girlfriend's the master at it, but the base is just buckwheat groat, and then put it in the food processor, blend it up. And it's important to have soaked the buckwheat, though. The buckwheat has to soak for a while, and then you blend it up.
So what do you have? Do you have like a ton of buckwheat soaking all day long?
Yeah, we'll have some buckwheat soaking towards the midday, evening time for a night. It takes you want it to soak for a little while.
Dude, I'm so excited about this but my wife and I are both big pizza lovers, but especially my wife. Especially because she grew up, her family, they had Domino's pizza franchises. So she's a pizza girl. So we've got all of the pizza making tools, like the stone tablet, the slicers, the cut. Yeah, this is awesome. So you blend it up, and then what do you blend it and pour some water in it?
Yeah, a little bit of water. And then just same way as they're kind of delicate, but put it on a pizza pan, and you'll cook it until it gets fairly firm, and then we like to just slide it off the pizza pan onto the rack and cook it a little bit more, and then we'll top it with some red sauce and some veggies and put it back in for a little bit longer and take it out. Any extra toppings that we want on there, we throw on some avocados, and it's ready to eat.
That sounds like a lot of work.
It is a little bit of work, but it's totally worth it.
I'm going to try it. It's definitely worth trying once. I'm going to try it. But I was going to say, because so you blend up you turn it into a dough, and then you spread it out, and then you bake the dough, right? And then you pull it out,
yep.
And then you put the toppings on. Do you put any like sauce on it too?
Yeah, we'll put red sauce on it.
Some red pizza sauce.
Yep. Or barbecue, like a good
barbecue.
plain
Dude, that's my
Jane
favorite.
Barbecue sauce is really good on there. We like that. Yep.
Oh, that's amazing. All right, sweet. So you have your barbecue. You have this big buckwheat pizza. I love this because the carb load on that has got to be huge for you. Are you still getting in like another 300 grams of carbs at that point?
Again, probably getting in anywhere from 150 to 250 grams of carbs.
And your protein again is 40 to 50?
Yeah, it's up there. It's probably not quite as high in the evening time in that meal specifically, but I will have a pretty good protein meal before bedtime.
Oh, I was going to say, you covered it with the previous protein shake, right? You had another 40 or 50 grams of protein with the shake before that. I mean, already at that point, let me just count things up a little bit. You're doing 50 for meal 1, 50 for meal 2, 50 for meal 3, 50 for your for meal 4, and you're doing 50 again for meal 5. You're already at 250.
Already getting up there. So
before you even got into meals, I mean,
that was one more little snack before bedtime to make sure I get enough.
Yeah, so you're getting pretty close to 300 grams of protein every day. So, all right. So the cool thing is, so it doesn't even matter if that is mostly all carbohydrates, because not only have you already gotten the protein that you need already to that point, but you're going to do another one after meal 6.
Yeah, I'm going to come behind that, usually with a chia pudding is what I call it. So I'll take chia seeds and soak them for half an hour, make sure they're nice and tender. And then I'll combine that with an almond butter and some some protein powder, whichever I may choose. Usually, probably a brown rice for the evening, brown rice protein, and then maybe a little dash of vanilla in there, and any kind of seeds that I may want, like a sunflower seed or maybe an almonds. So that will be my evening snack, and that will have 20 to 30 grams of protein in it probably.
That's awesome. All right, let me look through this here. So I am trying to figure out where you're getting the majority of your fat. I see very clearly where you're getting your protein, where you're getting your carbohydrates, but I see you got some flax, some fat in your buckwheat omelet, and you got some fat in your almond.
The buckwheat has some fat in it, and then the avocado.
The avocado, okay, and then your protein shakes, because you do almond butter in your protein shakes. Okay, and then you got your nuts at the end of the day too, and the chia seeds, of course.
And the chia seeds. Yep.
Oh wow, that's great. Pretty cool, man. And is that everything? So if I were to count every little section, even the protein shake as its own separate meal, that's 7 times a day that you're eating.
Yeah, I have to eat a lot.
Yeah, I believe it. I mean, no wonder you got to split it up like that, because I'm just looking at these meals. I'm like, God, if you had to try to get this in 5 meals, you'd have to start combining some stuff. I can't even imagine being able to stomach all that food in one shot. So, how much? And on top of that, you drinking water?
Yeah, very important to get that water intake in there. 1 to 2 gallons, preferably up in that 2-gallon range.
You carry around a giant gallon jug with you everywhere you go?
I've found that works best for me. I've tried the smaller half-gallon, and I'm just not as good about refilling it and getting it in. So I stick to a gallon jug of water right by my side.
Wow. Do you take any like multivitamin or glutamine or creatine?
I do both.
Yeah. So, or do you do multivitamin?
I do.
Cool. And when do you take it, and what kind?
So I do a brand called Metagenics multivitamin. Take that in the morning along with a liquid vitamin B12, highly absorbable. I think it's very important to take that. And also a liquid vitamin D. And being up in the north here, I think that's super important for everyone up here. Just because, especially in the wintertime, we don't get the sunlight that you maybe do down in Texas.
Well, it's not like you're out sunbathing, Yeah,
true.
You need the sun rays to hit your skin to get that vitamin D.
I think that those 3 are really important for me. And then I'll also do a glutamine powder and a creatine powder, creatine monohydrate.
When do you do those?
I'll do the creatine after I work out.
So that's with your protein shake?
My shake. That's in my shake, yep.
Creatine. And how much creatine you take in?
I usually just tell you the truth. I kind of know a pretty close size to the serving size, so I'll just kind of pour it in there. I don't even scoop it out. I just give a little dash. So
are you going for if you get a creatine, usually the serving is 5, I don't know if it's grams or milligrams, I can't remember.
I have some sitting right here. I'll tell you what it is. It is 5 grams. Yep, I probably go 5 to 10 grams.
5 to 10 grams. Okay, great. And do you take creatine with your other protein shake too, or is that it?
Just in the evening time.
So you do want. Okay. Oh, got it. So after your big workout, you do the creatine. So it's once a day.
Yep. Once a day creatine.
And then glutamine.
Yeah, and then the glutamine sometimes I'll add in the morning, but for the most part, I just do the glutamine and the creatine in the evening post workout shake.
Post workout. And how much glutamine are you taking in?
again, just kind of roll with the serving size. Let me see what it is here. I got it. 5 grams. I would say 5 to 10 grams. So the amount per serving is 5,000 milligrams of L-glutamine.
All right, awesome. You know, to compete at the super heavyweight level, to really like the guys that you go up against, they've got to be on steroids, right? A lot of them.
I would say a lot of the guys probably are. I don't know it for a fact, and I don't think anyone ever does. But I would venture to say that there are guys on steroids.
I mean, coming from a pro ball background, I mean, did you ever have to take any of that stuff to be able to compete?
Well, when I played ball, we were always monitored pretty closely throughout college, so it never was anything that I was around too much in college ball because we were tested. I'm not sure if it happened on my team, but I know that it did happen out there. I know certainly that it did happen.
So you built all of your strength and your mass all 100% without the use of any steroids or growth hormones or anything like that?
100%, no steroids, growth hormones.
You heard it, folks. Freaking 250 pounds of solid muscle, no drugs, no steroids, just whole foods, a couple of great supplements, and tons and tons of working out. That's freaking awesome. So that means there's hope for me. So I got a question for you. How does your diet, and how do you shift or change your diet when you are trying to get as lean as you possibly can, trying to get your skin like paper thin, getting down to like the 2% body fat range so you can get up on stage and crush it?
Yeah, I go back to the old school low carbohydrate intake, and I usually incorporate a carb cycle in there with it, where I swing from a low carbohydrate intake into a little bit higher, and then next week back into the low, and then back up to the high. So for me, it really puts my body in a metabolic fat burn where I'm really dropping the fat out when I'm looking for that paper thin skin.
So tell me, what does that cycle look like?
So I will, let's start on Sunday. Sunday I'll consume around 200 grams of carbs, all based on numbers here now. So I'll drop my calorie intake down to the 2,500 to 2,000 calorie range, and my carbohydrate intake will on Sunday be around the 200 grams. And then I'll bring it down on Monday to 150, and then on Tuesday to 100, and then on Wednesday down to 75 grams. 75 to
75. Wednesday must suck for you.
Oh, it's horrible, but it's all worth it at the end. But yeah, I'll get down there to that 75 to 50 grams carbohydrates, which is not very much at all, Tom. Not very much. And then I'll bring it back up on Thursday, and I'll be smiling ear to ear because I'll pump probably 400 grams of carbs in on Thursday, bumping those carbs back up. And then Friday, Saturday, I'll still stay up there in those high carbs. So on Saturday, I'm looking real full. And then back to that same cycle. And I'll go through that cycle several times before I step on stage.
But you're nowhere near the 1,000 grams of carbs that you're doing on like a regular basis.
Not at all. And my calorie intake isn't anywhere close to that 5,000.
Now you keep your protein
calories
and fat exactly the same throughout the entire cycle. It's just the carbs that you're messing with.
My protein and fat doesn't vary a lot, but it won't be as high because I'm not as concerned with that muscle building phase.
Now, my question for you is, how do you? Okay, I was going to say, because my question was going to be, so much. I'm just looking through everything I wrote down here. I'd say close to half of your protein is coming from your biggest carbohydrate sources. I'm looking at the lentils and the hummus. That's where a lot of your protein is coming from, but that's also where the majority of your protein of your carbohydrates are coming from too. So what do you cut back on to be able to pull this off while keeping your protein high and your fat high, but getting those carbs down that low? I'm just trying to imagine from like a vegan standpoint, where every vegan whole food that you look at is, the majority of it is carbohydrate.
Yeah, so that's when I'll bring in a little bit more powder. So I'll add in more shakes, drop out the buckwheat for the most part. The lentils will stay somewhat. And then I'll also, I have been doing some sprouted tofu in the show prep.
And that's working out okay for you, obviously. I mean, you look freaking beast. You were beast when you got up on stage. That's awesome.
Yeah. I'm not maybe the biggest tofu fan, but for a macronutrient standpoint, it is very good for numbers.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you got guys like my friend Tory Washington. If he slips, he eats so much tofu that if he were to slip and fall and scrape his knee on the ground, it'd be like tofu pouring out of his skin. It's not even blood. He eats so much tofu. So
I wasn't ever consuming a ton of tofu, but a fair amount of tofu in the
Well, I bet
prep.
it helps when you're freaking eating next to nothing down to 50, 75 grams, right? You must be starving at that point. So anything that gives you something big to chew on probably tastes really good at that point.
Yeah.
Eddie Murphy said, if you're starving on a deserted island, even a saltine cracker can taste like the best thing you've ever had, right?
Yeah.
It's like, that's the best saltine cracker I've ever had. So, all right, that's pretty sweet. And then you keep your water intake really, really high. And is there anything else that you're doing with your nutrition besides cutting out the carbohydrates, switching to shakes? Any other techniques that you can share for people who want to get super, super ultra ripped?
I think that fat level is pretty important too. And for me, I try to keep that fat level around 75 grams a day. So fat is a little bit limited down compared to a normal day, and then carbohydrates is really, really where it's limited down for me.
Got it. And how long does it take you to get down to, or how many weeks do you go before you hit the stage?
I think this last time around when I was cutting down, I did about 6 weeks of pretty hard carb cycling. Now, before that, I was watching what I eat and limiting down my calories some, but really 6 good weeks of carb cycling got me down to where I wanted to be at.
Oh, that's great. Fascinating stuff, Ryan. Very, very impressive. I'm amazed at how much food you put down and how you're able to pull it off with mostly whole foods. I'm also happy to learn that you really make protein powders work for you. Can't tell you how many people are scared to death of eating protein powders. Like they think that it's going to ruin their health. It's going to make them fat. I've heard everything to giving you cancer. I've heard that before. But here you are using it as a key ingredient for the 6 weeks before your contest, and you look amazing.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So I want to wrap it up there, and let's, in the next episode, go over your workouts, and let's talk about how you work out to maintain this insanely impressive muscular physique. 250 pounds, 5 to 6% body fat off season. And do you switch your workouts up at all when you get into your pre-contest carb cycling mode?
Not too much, man. They stay pretty close to the same.
So you stay pretty consistent. Yeah, that's one of my one of the guys that I used to work with back back at the Sports Club LA. He was a big boy. He was a heavyweight just like you. I think he was actually around 6'4" ish, 6'5", and off season. No, yeah, he was pretty tall. Sorry, he was 6'7", and off season he was like 300 plus pounds. And when he got ready to get up on stage, I mean, big boy. He would be competing at anywhere between 250 to 275 pounds, but freaking ripped diesel, big boy. And when I asked him, I said, "Does your work? What do you do or change up your workout before your contest?" He's like, "I don't. I do the same
I try
damn
not to change
thing."
much.
Yep. He said the only thing that he does is he changes his diet, and that's it. Very cool. Well, listen, tell us again, remind everybody how do people get in touch with you? How do they reach you? What's your website?
My website is www.alphafitnessmn.com. Email is alpha.fitness@aol.com, and phone is 307-751-8567.
Okay, fantastic. And people can reach you if you work with people outside remotely, like over the internet or over the telephone?
I do offer a long-distance personal training for people, and I've worked with people from Switzerland to Washington to New Jersey to Wyoming, Montana, all over the place.
Okay, fantastic. I have a feeling that you're going to get a lot of interest in people wanting to work with you. So thank you for offering that. I really appreciate it. So again, folks, that's Ryan Nelson. In the next episode, we're going to be going over his step-by-step, his workout to be able to achieve and maintain this insane physique even through pre-contest and up onto stage. So you definitely don't want to miss that, because that is the complete puzzle of how this man stands at 6'4", 250 pounds, 5 to 6% body fat year round. So I want to thank you, Ryan, for sharing all that with you. Folks, thanks for tuning in. If you haven't already, make sure that you download your very own copy for free of the Vegan Muscle Book. Go to veganmusclebook.com, download it today, and you will find out exactly how I gained over 10 pounds of muscle in just 4 weeks with only 3 meals a day and 4 simple exercises. Also, join in the conversation that's happening right now at our Facebook page. Go to facebook.com/veganbodyrevolution. And if you enjoyed this episode and you feel that it deserves 5 stars, please give us a 5-star review by going to iTunes and selecting 5 stars and give a little comment right there. It helps us get ranked higher in the search engines and helps others find out about how to achieve their body on a vegan diet, making this whole world a better place. Again, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. My name is Thomas Tadlock, host of the Vegan Body Revolution Show, and I will catch you on the next podcast.